Welcome to the Generation Elevation podcast, a conscious, connected platform for those who are ready to manifest their dream life. I'm your host, Elise Riley, a former PT, now motivational speaker, igniting empowerment and transformation all across the globe. Here at Generation Elevation, we are committed to bringing you the most inspiring guests who will share their stories, wisdom, and advice to help you progress closer to living a life of your own terms.
Welcome back to another episode of Generation Elevation. Before we start today, guys, make sure you subscribe to this channel on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are listening from, and make sure to share this podcast to your friends, family, whoever you feel like would resonate, as the more people that tune in to this show, the better. We're elevating as a generation. Now, today I have an incredible guest, and I'm super grateful to have her on the show. I have known this woman for a few years now. I met her on the first couple of weeks I moved up to the Gold Coast at a Cool to Be Conscious event on the beach. I really liked her style, and so I introduced myself and here we are today now getting to interview her and share with you guys this incredible lady, because like I said, she is amazing. And she started her business in COVID, moving from childcare to now being the founder of Blank Smiles Training Academy. She owns a salon and she also is in wholesale. She is a 7-figure business owner and she is 24. She is such an inspiration to me and many people up here on the coast and around the world. And with that said, I would like to introduce to you today Bree Wilkinson. Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
It is a pleasure to have you here today, and let's just have fun.
Yeah.
Let's just
not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous, but that's okay.
That is totally okay.
I love doing something new, so
yes.
Getting outside of my comfort zone.
Yes. Oh, so good. And if you're listening today, what can you do that is out of your comfort zone? What is that thing that you've been putting off that you're like, I'll just do that later when I'm ready, and you keep avoiding it. However, it's just that little action, that little leap that you need to take, and who knows, you can create some magic from that.
Absolutely. I always make a goal every day to do something that is completely outside of my comfort zone, or something that I haven't done to become 1% better every day. That's like my life motto.
I love that. And so would you say that today is like
absolutely
that thing? Yes, amazing.
I think this is like my week big challenge, you know? Like, it's so easy to have conversations with people, especially, you know, like surrounding all the things we love to talk about, but when you're actually sitting down and having to, like, you know, it's crazy, but I'm so excited.
It's definitely a different setting. Like, we've got the cameras set up today, we've got the lights happening, I'm on that Love Hustle office.
I think the thing for me too is because I have been such a strong business owner over the last few years, when I'm in a situation where I don't have control of like flow almost, it's kind of like, oh, I've got to trust in, not that I don't, but you know, like, you've got to put that trust into
the unknown.
Yeah, literally. You do.
And it was funny, Bree asked me, she's like, oh, do we have questions for today? I was like, oh, no.
Because I was like, I'm not a question to have a girl either way. So it's nice that we can just kind of flow into it.
Exactly. And we'll just see what happens today. I really think we're going to create some magic, because in the unknown, that is where the magic is created.
Absolutely. Uncomfortability. Is that a word?
Well, yes, it is
now.
Yes, it definitely is. So get uncomfortable today, guys. What is that thing that you've been putting off but you really kind of want to try and do? Just take that leap and see what happens.
Yeah, just do it.
So, Bree.
Yes.
Starting your career in childcare, and then you created Blank Smiles in the midst of COVID. Let's hear about that. The listeners, I'm sure, want to know how you have gone on to create a 7-figure business in 3 years.
Insane.
And be the incredible boss woman that you are. Like, start from the very start. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. So basically, my childhood growing up was a little bit different, and the way that I kind of went about school was a little bit different as well. You know, like going from, my parents moved a lot, so going from like a lot of different high schools, constantly having to try and, you know, like find my little security net in different schools every 2 years. That was a very big struggle growing up, which obviously created a lot of, I guess, self-confident issues with my gap that I have.
Yeah, so for those who are listening in, tell us a little bit more about that, so they have like a
vision. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I have a beautiful smile, but I have a gap between my 2 front teeth.
And it is so cool. Like, I love your teeth.
I always used to think like, I'm going to close it, get veneers, whatever. And then I'm like, hell no, could you imagine if I closed it? I wouldn't even know myself. Like, I used to put chewy gum in between my gap.
Really?
To like see what I would look like. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't.
No.
No matter how much.
It's not you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I learned to really embrace that. And then obviously, working in childcare, studying Bachelor of Primary Education. So I was working in childcare throughout like babies, and then I went into ECT, so like the preschool end, so 2 complete different opposite ends. And I was just, no matter what end I went in, I was just exhausted. And I was like, is this really what life is about? Waking up every single day when someone is requiring me to wake up and show up for them, to then show up for like, you know, anywhere from like 10 to 40 children. And as much as I love kids and I love the industry and all the rest of it, I think what really woke me up was like, is this the life that I want to continuously live? And is this the life I want to continue to have when I bring children into the world, or when I have a partner? Like, I'm working 40 hours a week. It was just exhausting.
What was that moment for you when you were just working 40 hours a week and then gone like, you know, is this actually for me?
Well, to be honest, I think when you're surrounded by people that work 9 to 5 all the time, it's just, you have to do it. You have to put up with it. You've got to be exhausted. Like, that's just life, you know? And that's what we're conditioned to think. It's just life. You've got to go to work. You've got to
normal.
Make money. Yeah, literally, like, you're supposed to feel stressed. You're supposed to have a sore back 24/7 when it's not. And when COVID had hit, and I lost a full-time income I got put down to 2 days, making like $300 a week. I thought to myself, nothing is secure in life. Literally nothing is secure in life other than yourself, your foundation, your morals, your values, your beliefs, all of those sorts of things. So I was like, what can I do to work on myself? What can I do to build security within myself? Because I moved out of home quite young. I've always sort of had to find security somehow, and a job was my security. It was my safe space, because I knew that I could live if I had money. You know what I mean? And yeah, that was my turning point, being like, this is not normal. Like, it's not normal to feel exhausted. It's not normal to have to do things that you don't want to do. So I think, that was my turning point. And when COVID had happened, I thought to myself, what business can I create that that basically gave a solution to the problems I had experienced in life, which was literally my self-confidence. Everybody is beautiful in their own way. Embrace your teeth, no matter, you know, what you look like. Embrace yourself. So that's how I got into cosmetic teeth whitening, which now it's blown up. It's an industry that is everywhere, which is amazing. But yeah, I thought to myself, I spent, you know, hours researching lashes, brows. I knew that I wanted to do something, I guess, in beauty, because it was easy, let's be honest, you know, like it was an industry that I was interested in. It was easy for me.
What are you good at? What is easy? What is like something that you're passionate about? What is something that you love? And then creating something from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what value can I give to make other people feel amazing? So yeah.
Wow. So tell me a bit more about that. So you created Blunk out of that time for you, and what was the different phases that you have gone through in that industry, in that business, to where you are now today?
It's been it hasn't even been 3 years yet, which is insane.
Wow.
The fact that I've been able to build a 7-figure business in under 3 years with literally just offering value.
Amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah, but I've worked my ass off, don't get me wrong, and it has been such a journey, but all I have focused on is adding value. And that's how it all kind of, come about. But I guess I'll take you through the little journey of my business.
Yeah.
So awesome. I come up with the idea, the concept, you know, exactly what I wanted the foundation of my business was. And that was just value, making everybody feel beautiful and confident. I didn't have a space to offer teeth whitening. So I was like, okay, what can I do? What business model can I create? By the way, I have no idea in business. My family don't own businesses, nothing at all. It was just research. What can I do? Google is my best friend, by the way. If nobody uses Google as often as they should, I swear, like, it is, the best tool out. But basically, I started doing mobile treatments, so traveling out to people's house, doing teeth whitening, building sort of a community that way in the comfortability of other people's homes, well, in their homes, sorry. And that was amazing. I did that for probably about 3 weeks. Oh, sorry. I was still in childcare actually when I had first started doing mobile treatments.
Oh,
yes.
right,
So I was still in childcare. I was doing my 2 days there, and then the rest of the days I was doing mobile treatments. Within the first 2 weeks of my business, I was generating way more than a weekly income in just one day.
Wow.
So I quit my job after 2 weeks, which was so scary because for the last, since I was 12, I've always worked a 9-to-5 job, multiple 9-to-5 jobs. So trusting in myself to do that. Went into, mobile, and then I set up a little salon room at my rental, like at my house. And I did that. And then I went into PLC, so a gym on the Gold Coast. And I went into their upstairs room where that was really cool as well. I went through a journey there for about maybe 4 or 5 months.
It'd have been cool because you would have been able to leverage their audience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, appearance and gym, they work hand in hand. So it was really cool having amazing conversations with people and, just building a really nice community around it all. And then when I was at PLC running my business from upstairs, I come into a problem that I didn't think I'd ever get into, and that was wholesaling. So product supplies in the industry, they just weren't the greatest. So that's how I ventured into wholesaling products, because I was very specific with what I wanted and the quality. So from there I started wholesale, went back home, and I actually started my wholesale. My wholesale grew quite exponentially, and that was from me literally just putting myself out there and just doing it. I was like, what do I have to lose? I only started 8 months ago, but I know my shit. When you know.
That sense of that security in yourself you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And then I rented out national storage, like a little shipping container, and put all of my stock in there, packed and posted all my e-com orders from a shipping container. And then I said to myself, I knew I was working on my training academy because I was like, the industry has lack of education and value. I'm going to be that person to add value in the industry as well. So not only did I add value in the, the everyday salon sort of environment, I also did it for my clients. And then for current business owners that were using those sort of products, I did that in the wholesale e-com industry and then in the education industry, because I'm like, I could take this to a whole new level. So I started working on that, and in that time frame I was like, okay, for me to do that I need to obviously grow a little bit, get outside of my comfort zone. I've just expand into the salon space so that I had a place to train and to offer clients, at a larger scale. So I started researching, and I found a beautiful salon space within literally the first, I opened commercial real estate and I found the space.
Wow, meant to be.
It literally was, yeah. And I actually, I checked that space. I drove past it maybe a year before, and I was like, oh, that's a nice place. It was so random, yeah.
That is so cool.
It was really weird, yeah. And then, so I ended up getting that place straight away, my first salon space straight away. Renovated that, did everything myself, and the reason I wanted to do that was, 1, to save costs because I was on a budget going into a salon, but 2, I learned so much. I was a gardener, a plumber, a floor layer, literally everything, built walls, just everything that I didn't know I was even capable of. I could renovate a house. I could do anything, literally.
Yes, wearing all the hats.
Could, yeah. So then I opened my salon, and then that was a journey for about a year in my first salon space. I had 2 girls, so 2 employees that had worked for me, and they're amazing. I've always had a really, really nice team, which is cool. And then I was manifesting a warehouse 2020, what year are we? 2023. So
Yes.
2022, I was like, I'm going to open a warehouse. This is a year that I'm going to have my wholesale. I'm going to have a training academy in my offices, like Blunk headquarters, basically.
Yeah. Awesome.
And yeah, I found a warehouse and I renovated that. And yeah, it's just been a journey since. So now I've got, a salon, a warehouse. From the warehouse, opened like a photography studio as well. Which was cool.
That is incredible. Yeah. You should be so proud of yourself. That's an amazing journey. Yeah. And I have a few things that I would love to talk about with you. So you mentioned manifestation, and this is so funny, like synchronistically, because literally in every single podcast I've done since I did an episode on manifestation, every guest has spoken about manifestation.
Really?
And so I'd love to hear your perspective on manifestation and what would be your advice for the listeners who are wanting to potentially manifest their own business or lifestyle, etc.
First step is believing. That's number one, because 2 years ago I had no idea what manifestation even was, and I started hearing the word quite a bit. I think it was around Call to Be Conscious time. Started hearing it quite a bit, and I was like, what is this word? Like, what does it even mean? So I started researching, and, you know, everyone's like, doesn't work, like, you know. But they're probably the people that are, you know, stuck in that whole headspace of a 9-to-5 job sort of things, that people that are so conditioned almost. And I was like, okay, cool. So I started listening to a few podcasts, and the first thing I heard was manifest like your car park spot. Manifest a coffee being brought to you. So I started. I kid you not, Burleigh on the Gold Coast, busiest place you could ever go. You spend hours finding a car park. Without a doubt, no matter what day, time, anything at all, I get the same car park. I'm not even kidding you. The same car park.
Really?
Every single time. So for me, I was like, okay, manifestation works. I'm going to go on a larger scale. 100%. So then I started manifesting, you know, my salon. I started manifesting the warehouse. And with manifestation, you need to be very clear, in my opinion. Like, you need to set your intention and then also set time frames and your vision for it. Because if I manifest, I'm going to be a millionaire, this could happen in 30 years time. It could happen in 50 years time. It could happen tomorrow. If I manifested it that hard, I know that it could happen tomorrow. And it's just, all about believing and actually visioning and actioning towards that as well. So
I love this so much. And even to elaborate on what you just said, like, if you wanted to be a millionaire tomorrow and you weren't today listening to this right now, and you're like, all right, I'm going to manifest being a millionaire tomorrow. If you don't actually believe that you could be a millionaire tomorrow and you doubt yourself and your capability to do that, it's unlikely that that thing will manifest itself. So like Bree is saying, beliefs are so important when it comes to achieving your goals, because if you believe you can, you will. If you believe you can't, you won't. And that's what I spoke about on my manifestation podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, go do that now. And so I love that you said beliefs is like what the biggest thing for you that you've utilized in your manifestation process, because as you can see, like, even you're telling the story of seeing your salon a year earlier, you didn't even realize that you were actually manifesting that then.
With the warehouse as well, I actually was going to like share a warehouse with two of my girlfriends, and that had happened a year before, and the warehouse we looked at was a warehouse I actually got.
Wow.
A year later. It was still available a year later, and it just wasn't meant to be, and they ended up, you know, coming into my warehouse and renting from me, and then, you know, went off on their own little business ventures. But it was so wild, because when they had come to my warehouse, they were like, this is the exact one we looked at a year ago. So it's so wild how you could be driving past something and you don't even realize that may be the place that you're in a year's time, or like in 6 months' time.
Yes.
So
it's amazing. And I fully believe that you can create your reality with your mindset.
100%.
Like I said, if you believe you can, you will. And so how can you today, listening, embody the version of yourself that you want to be? Who can you be, or how can you show up in the world that is doing the thing that you want to be doing right now? So let's say you have a goal to be this certain size, or be this weight on the scales, or push this weight in the gym, or whether it be make 7 figures in your business, or create a business, or hit some sort of level with that. It's like, okay, how would that version of you show up? And then start embodying that now.
Yes. That was literally I feel like this is a podcast I've listened to. Maybe I'll listen to yours. Who knows? But that was literally how my manifestation on a larger scale worked. So they would say, you're driving a car, no matter what type of car it is. If you have a dream car, you need to be that person driving that car. So I used to get in my Mitsubishi and be like, here's my Audi, like, you know, Q3 Sports. Like, I was just full, you know, and now I'm in that.
Oh my gosh, you rocked up. I was like, oh my God, got the Prada bag. I was like, oh, I'm manifesting your fashion.
But you know what? All of this is, it's literally just like me manifesting. Who do I want to be in like 3 months time? Who do I want to be tomorrow? Who do I want to be right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm forever, I don't want to be this person tomorrow. I want to be 1% better tomorrow, if not 100% better tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like I'm always wanting to grow and be someone different at a larger scale. Be me, but, you know, at a larger scale, at a higher scale.
100%, because like this is why I created this podcast. This is for those people who are wanting to become the best version of themselves. And that's why I get guests on like yourself and why I created this, because I am addicted to every single day asking myself, how can I show up better than I did yesterday?
Yeah.
And how can I progress one step closer towards that thing that I want? And ultimately, the thing that we want usually is the feeling anyway. So it's like, how can we continually progress? And for me, I get my happiness or fulfillment from progressing and doing these sorts of things and having these conversations and sharing them with people who are on the same journey. It's really elevating.
It's very empowering, isn't it? It's such an empowering feeling when people just get it.
Yes.
You know, they
100%.
just know. A book I had read on manifestation was The Secret. Have you read it?
Yes.
It's insane. It's amazing. And it's like, you know, those people that don't believe in it or whatever it may be, manifestation is so real that whether it's positive or negative, just remember it all multiplies.
100%. What you think you attract. So if you're focusing your energy on things that you don't want, you're going to attract that. If you're focusing on what you do want, you'll attract that. So you might as well focus on what you want.
100%.
So the listeners, they want to write something down. They want to like go, okay, Bree, I want to take notes about what you've just said today. So in regards to manifestation, you said like writing things down and what was your process for that?
So in terms of like manifesting?
How you manifest,
Okay, cool. So I do a lot of self-talk. So whether it's out aloud or whether it's in my head, I do a lot of self-talk. I journal a lot. So in terms of, depending where I'm going with it, but you know, just for little things like, let's use like the car park situation for an example. How do I manifest my car park every single day without a doubt? In Burleigh, busiest place, right? So
it's so good. I've hacked that system too.
Have you?
Yeah. Chuck it on my resume.
And I'll have a car full of people that are like, you're not going to get a car park. Like, literally. They're like,
watch me.
It's Sunday afternoon, like Burleigh Hill's crazy. And I'm like, okay.
I'm going to get one at the front.
And then I'm like, can you just be quiet for 1 second so my energy can just like,
I love
just 1 second and just let me re-manifest, like, you know, extracting that negativity, like negative thoughts. And then they're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, it's manifestation, I told you.
Yeah.
And they're like,
it works.
Yeah. So basically for the car park situation, what I'll do is I will wake up and I'm like, cool, going to Burleigh today, like basically saying I'm going there. So I'm actioning it. And then the whole way I'm like, I talk in my head saying that my car park's waiting for me, like it's there waiting for me. It's almost like I vision, when I manifest, I vision that thing, so my warehouse, I visioned my warehouse behind like a gold gate almost.
Wow.
And then when I get there, it unlocks.
As soon as you said that, I had the vision of a gold gate. I was like, oh, that's a really great idea.
So then my car park's locked because that's mine. What's meant for you is meant for you. It'll always be meant for you until it's not. You know what I mean? And then that gate will,
Yeah, and so when you get closer to it, do you envision that gate opening?
Yeah, and then it's there.
So simple.
Here's me. I'm like, I don't know how to elaborate on this because it just works. You just have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is like my number one. Anything you want in life, I tell people this all the time and I'm so passionate when I say it, but literally anything you want in life, you can get. Anything. Like it could be owning an airplane, flying your own airplane, you can get it. Like it's like the most wildest, I don't know why that comes to my head, but anything you want.
Yes, 100%.
You can go and get. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree that anything is possible.
Yeah.
And if you can see it in your mind and you believe it, in your soul, you can create it in this reality. And that is literally the purpose of this podcast, is to get guests like yourself to have me share my experience as well, so that those listening can go, well, if Bree did it or if Elise did it, then so can I.
Yeah. Another thing with that too, I think, you know, if you say, I want to be a millionaire tomorrow, for example, it's not just going to happen. Like you need to manifest it, and your actions around you and everything that you're showing up for needs to align. It's all about alignment as well. Are you meant to be there at that place? You know, so for example, just like with my salon, when I had driven past that and I was like, oh, that's a really nice place. I probably knew in the back of my mind, well, I did know in the back of my mind that I'd always own salons. I thought I'd have multiple salons around Australia and whatnot. And I knew that I would have a salon, but at that point in time, it wasn't meant to be because I was just starting out, but I knew that I'd be there. I didn't know I'd be in that exact one, but I knew, you know, and it was the best thing ever. Like,
I think like when you become aware of your environment, right? Your brain knows what you want based on the experience that you've lived. So how do you know that there's better or more out there if you've never experienced it yet? And I fully believe that there's a higher power, a source or energy, not a bottle of sauce, but like a source, energy and universe or God or whatever you believe in. But I believe in this higher power that knows that there is a higher potential out there for you. So whatever you manifest now, know that it's really about the journey along the way to having that thing, because by the time you progress along your journey and you get that thing, you'll most likely have expanded so much along that journey that you have manifested it in such a way that was better than what you could have ever imagined.
Literally, yes. I couldn't agree with that anymore. Yeah.
And so we really have solidified that the purpose and the, I guess, the way we manifest is through self-belief. And
100%.
This is awesome because it ties into what you said before about self-security.
Yeah.
And so, Bree, I'm really curious to know about how you developed that sense of security in yourself before you started your business, because I believe your business reflects you and your mindset.
Yeah.
So how have you solidified your mindset so that along your journey, whether you've faced ups and downs or challenges or whatever, how have you made sure that you stayed secure in yourself?
Yeah. Well, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think, to be very honest, I think going through all the shit that I went through growing up and in school, I think I knew I was different. Like I just knew that people aren't going to get it. No one needs to understand you. No one needs to get you. No one needs to like you. It's as long as you feel good within yourself and who you are, and you love who you are and you love what value you're adding to yourself and, you know, the rest of the world. I think,
I fully believe that life is your mirror. So if you're hating on you, if you're dissing you, if you're uncomfortable being you, then this will be reflected back to you via people in your experience. They might be hating on you. They might be dissing you. They might be making you feel uncomfortable, and therefore, because they are making you feel a certain way and it's happening to you, you're giving away your power to the people in your external environment, when really the power is within you yourself all along. And so as soon as you start to switch your mindset, which is what I help my clients do, switching your mindset, starting to believe in yourself and showing yourself that you can, and that you are amazing, that you are beautiful, and asking the right questions, that belief that is then installed in yourself then reflects back to you externally, and people start believing in you too. That's what I believe in my experience.
100%. I think building security within myself I'm trying to think back to when I first started my business now, because now I've got so much security within myself that I'm like, you can fucking do anything you want in the world. Like, just go and do it. Like, literally.
Just go.
You can, yeah. So, you know, now I'm exploring a whole nother sense of security within myself of traveling solo. So it's my thing of putting myself in uncomfortable situations, but knowing that at the end of the day, I've still got myself.
Yeah.
And being so secure within myself. So I'm trying to like put my mind, well, you know, take myself back to 3 years ago to before I started my business, because I was not in a very secure place. Yeah, the foundation of my life, well, you know, I had a home, I had food, you know, I was fit and healthy and whatnot, but the security within my mindset wasn't there. And yeah, like you said, as soon as I kind of changed that belief and said to myself, you can do anything, and what's the worst that could happen? You don't have security in your job. Like, no matter if you're the manager of like a beautiful company that you love so dearly, it could the next day just, you know,
disappear.
And then you've got, what security do you have financially, for example? So yeah, really building security within yourself, loving yourself. And I think for me, my biggest tool is self-talk. So I'm constantly telling myself certain things. Everything happens for a reason. That's kind of like my life motto. Everything is playing out how it's meant to be for you.
Yes.
Yeah. All of those little.
And I was listening to a podcast with Abraham Hicks the other day, and she was speaking on a lady who really wanted to have a baby. Yep. She really wanted to have a baby, and she's getting upset because she wasn't having a baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, she come back a few months later and she was pregnant and she was happy.
Yeah.
And the reason why I share this is because sometimes we can want that thing and we can go, oh my gosh, it's not happening yet. It's not happening yet. It's not happening yet. And even though this lady come back and she was pregnant and she still didn't have the baby, she was happy in the knowing that it was coming.
Yeah.
And so how can you listening right now know that everything is working out exactly how it's meant to? Yeah. And if you think about your life's journey so far, you can connect the dots and go, oh,
actually,
that's why.
Yeah. even like for me, I used to think, you know, I guess a victim to, you know, like a childhood and whatnot. Why am I always being bullied for my teeth? And then now I'm like, look at the incredible business I've built just off teeth, like off being so empowered and just going, you know what, fuck it, this is like who I am, and I don't want to change that for other people's validation almost, you know? So yeah, that was a big turning point, just learning to trust in myself and build security around believing that I was, able to create anything in this lifetime, anything at all.
Wow. And so for all the listeners out there who may resonate with that past version of you, maybe they are experiencing bullying right now. Maybe they are questioning their sense of self and they're not feeling secure. Maybe they did just lose their job. Like, what would be 3 pieces of advice for those who are listening on how to rebuild themselves back up again so that they're better than before?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think accepting is number 1. Accepting where you are, accepting who you are, no matter what you look like, accepting it, because you are the way you are for a reason and you're different. Nobody's the same. Nobody's the same at all. So accepting where you are is number 1. When you accept, everything else kind of just flows through, because you're like, cool, you're aware of it and you accept it. And then everything else kind of just, you know, like flows through, all the other little things sort of flow through. What was the... So
you accept it, and then what would be 2 other pieces of advice for those who are experiencing potentially what you did in the past?
2 other pieces of advice.
Or even resources. Like, did you read any books or podcasts back then?
So podcasts were a big life-changing point in my life. A lot of... I love, David Goggins, Gary Vee, a lot of like women in business, because they've all got such a strong mindset that all have the same sort of foundation of believing in yourself, just knowing that you are where you're meant to be. And the 3rd piece of advice...
What's something that you do in your routine that helps you install that belief? Creating a really healthy lifestyle. That would be my 3rd piece of advice. So waking up in the morning, starting with your 3 things you're grateful for. So I've done this now for the last 5 years. This is where my turning point sort of was as well within my daily living. Waking up,
journaling or saying out loud 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. And when you first start practicing gratitude, it's actually quite hard. Not gonna lie, it's quite hard because you're like, what am I grateful for today? I'm grateful for the sun, food, and
it gets
water.
basic.
It's so basic. And then every day you'll find yourself that you're kind of repeating the same things until you broaden your mindset and you're like, I'm so grateful to wake up. Like, you know, all these really little things. I'm grateful for my strong, big legs. Like, literally, you know.
Grateful for my fingers to hold this mic right now.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So daily gratitude is a massive one. And then I get straight up out of bed. This actually was a huge life changer as well. Those people that sit there and snooze their alarms, you're starting your day with procrastination. Those people that get out of bed, roll out of bed and go to work, that's how your day, the frequency of your day will continue to flow. Whereas if you get up straight away, even if your eyes are still half closed and you make your bed, just know that you've completed your first task of the day. And then go into your daily gratitude. And then, you know, for me, I've had a very strict morning routine. So from 4:30 a.m. till 7 a.m. I don't touch my phone. I don't go on social media. I don't open any messages. The only thing I will do is when I'm driving to the beach for my sunrise morning walk will be a podcast. Most of the times it'll be in silence, and then when I get there, watch the sunrise, I'll then watch a podcast while I'm walking.
I love that. It's cool.
Yeah. So like creating little things like that in your daily routine. So gratitude, you know, completing your first task as soon as you wake up, making your bed, such a simple everyday task. And then going for a morning walk, and then, you know, following along with breath work, meditation, whenever I feel called to. I used to have such a strict routine where I would breath work, meditation for, you know, X amount of time. But now, in that sense, I still practice it every day, but when I feel called to doing it, whether it's before or, you know, at bedtime. And then, go for my morning walk. And I do that every single morning. My morning walks are my number one priority. And that's just to get the blood flowing in my body and feeling really happy. Releases your endorphins.
I love this so much. So to recap what Bree just said, making sure that you accept where you are, to build a healthy lifestyle, and to get into podcasts. Well, and clearly if you're here, you're already done number 3 because you're listening to this podcast right now. But if you're just new to this episode, this platform, make sure you definitely follow on iTunes, Spotify. That would be awesome. We have heaps of personal development episodes on here, mindset, health and fitness, spirituality, the whole lot. So definitely check those episodes out. And Bree, I'm really curious to know, like, where can my listeners, where can they find you if they want to connect with you, if they want to tell you about how much they love this episode and your vibe? Where can they find you?
Where can they find me? So I have a few little business Instagrams. So there's Blanc Smiles, which is for our salon. So it's just Blanc Smiles _ on Instagram. And then for our training academy and wholesale, even like any sort of questions that they have, Blanc Smiles _ exclusive. And then my personal Instagram is Bree Wilkinson with 3 underscores, I think, because they're all taken. Yes,
amazing. And I have a question as well for you. I ask all of my guests this one. So if you were to tune into your heart, your guides, your guidance, whatever, the first thing that comes to mind, the last question of today, I'd like to ask, if you could give the listeners one piece of advice that you feel like they need to know right now, what would that be?
Anything is possible. You just need to believe in yourself, set your intentions, write out your goals, and then follow through with actions. Actions are everything. You can speak it and you can manifest it to the T, but without any sort of actions that align within every other area of your life, it won't come until you do so.
Cool.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for today, Bree. I got so much value out of that, and I know the listeners would have too. And I'm super excited to see where you go with the rest of this year and expansion of whatever it is that you do. Yes. You're amazing. And I trust that you have an amazing rest of your week as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
amazing.
for coming on. Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of the Generation Elevation community. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a 5-star rating, written review, share, and tag me on Instagram at elise.riley. Until next time, keep loving, keep learning, and keep rising.